Frozen and so better leave on my swap it for time and I fake it for me. More Jedi based in 3 days, I'm on 3, I'm gone. Palamino Patron, Cappuccino Tuton, Alameda song, stack it up, stack it up.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? But let's be honest, mostly gentlemen, welcome back to The Pit. I am your co-host, Satoastshi. With me as always, actually back from a brief hiatus, we got both JewBacca and Jedi. How's it going, fellers?
Good to be back.
Yeah, Jedi, you were on vacay, huh?
Vacay up the coast, surfing, taking it easy. It was good
Very
to
cool
get away,
stuff.
man. Yeah, good to get away. Like,
well,
really
we're
awesome
super
spot for
glad
the year.
to have you back. You missed the whole bull run, but you know, there's plenty of stuff to check out and talk about. And right on cue, we're kind of dumping a little bit here into the stream. As you know, you just basically open a short about 30 minutes before the stream on all the majors, and then you close about halfway through. Never fails. Let's get into a bit of a market overview, fellas. Let's do it. Coach, you want to switch us over? Yeah, there's the screen share. So here's Bitcoin. Just to provide my thoughts, we have this breakdown out of this big range here. And this is your breakdown, but it's starting to look a bit false breakdown-y, starting to look a bit PO3-ish, because it's just kind of hanging around here and we've had no continuation. And that's kind of where we're at. We never actually tagged these highs here from this consolidation back in 2022. And that kind of feels a little bit weird that we haven't. So I'm kind of I'm on reclaim watch right now and looking for longs if we start showing that. But what do you guys think? I know you guys are not that entrenched in the majors right now, but
I mean, it's weird that we're so decoupled right now to the downside from equities. I'm not really sure why. It kind of feels like some negative crypto news is like being priced in a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe some Interpol, DOJ kind of shit going on.
Yeah, exactly. Some finance stuff. That's what it feels like.
Yep, that could be. How about you, Jedi?
I honestly don't really know what's going on with particularly Bitcoin at the moment. I almost feel like completely it's almost like it's wanting to do its own thing, you know, just from the understanding that I've picked up from, you know, traders like yourself, and it's just doing its own thing. I know that I think at the beginning of last week, Ryan, aka Cantrin Clark, was actually talking about how it was time that it actually revisited kind of like the lows in this range, which it obviously did. I think there was a little bit of a scare a couple of days ago, but it's not really doing much, is it? It's kind of like BlackRock couldn't take it over 32K, and if those guys can't take it, if the chairman can't make it happen, then I think we're here for a while. And I think everyone still wants to play, and this is the reason why. I mean, I know I'm disconnected from it because there's a whole lot of stuff happening on chain, and I mean, you know that I'm a DeFi maxi, and it's just fantastic to see even more of a decoupling to pretty much any reality that could possibly be financially related, and that is that the shitcoin market right now is absolutely on fire. And if you haven't identified clear wins, then you are doing something wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, we know you guys want to talk about on-chain stuff. What do I pull up? Dick ass coin, or what do I?
I want to look at Ethereum, because I think there's let's not go there yet. Let's just look at Ethereum quickly, because I think ETH is a great precursor to, you know, what could come once this on-chain stuff starts chilling out a bit. And I think the ETH chart's actually looking pretty good.
Yeah,
I guess it's kind of crazy though that for the first time in a very long time, like Bitcoin can look like shit, and we just have money flowing somewhere else. I mean, when was the last time that's happened?
Well, DeFi summer, dude. That's when it happened.
No, dude, what? That's happened. That's happened since then. No.
Well,
I mean,
I think from a precursor, I think, okay, so let me rephrase.
Because we had the Pepe was during this, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
No,
Pepe was one thing though.
Pepe was no, I think Pepe was very close to like Bitcoin at 31.5 or something.
Shut up, dude.
No, dude, it wasn't. It was way lower than that.
Bitcoin
was sucking the hunted at the time. It wasn't doing great.
I feel like Render had like major runs while Bitcoin was kind of chilling out / like falling out of range, but maybe I'm wrong. But I do feel like
I know that crypto is like this speeding bullet. So let's actually just slow down a bit. I think March, April was when the frog did its thing. What was Bitcoin doing in March and April? Please, can you refer? Was it on the uptrend?
End of April was the end of April, beginning of May was it.
Yep.
End of April, beginning of May. Yeah, Bitcoin was cucking there.
There we go. So
I mean, it cucked right after Pepe topped though.
Okay.
Yes.
Like seriously.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. So JewBacca correctly called the Scrotoverse takeover. That's great. Tell us about it, JewBacca.
No,
I mean we can finish our
I want to just look at ETH. Yeah. Let's just go back to ETH, and I'd like your opinion, like on ETH structurally, please, Circa. I mean, what are you seeing? I know that you're very focused on Bitcoin at the moment, but just kind of let me know your thoughts on this ETH chart. I'm getting vibes here that this thing is setting up for a big move on the upside.
It could, like, because we have, look, this is a consolidation before breakdown. Good place to anchor. And we kind of made our way to that high back here in April. And then we cucked down, we deviated below a range quarter, almost made it to range half. And now we've been holding range quarter as support, which isn't necessarily bearish. You know, maybe another attempt at this eighth or even the range high is in the cards. But I mean, as you know, ETH hasn't been particularly exciting. You know?
Yeah, I mean, how long before we get like a crazy volatile move from ETH? Like it's like a record amount of time, right?
Yeah, it's definitely ETH has been boring AF for ages. Since the merge rally, really, right? Like, this is the merge rally, and that was like quick breakneck upside, and then just like slow cuck down, you know, deviate the range quarter, and then it took, you know, months to get back up to range highs. And yeah, it hasn't been particularly exciting. I find it very interesting that it made it down to here 876, and ever since then, like, hasn't broken below 1,000 really. Like, whereas Bitcoin had, like, let's look at these, right? So this is what August of last year was the merge rally. That's this right here. And Bitcoin went lower, but ETH never did. ETH actually, I mean, it's technically like a divergence from Bitcoin, right? These are those two lows on ETH, and then here's those same two lows on Bitcoin right here and right here. So you see this is lower than this, but on ETH, that's not the case. And just seeing ETH not have that major capitulation that Bitcoin did is just a little sussy. It's also probably why it's been so boring, is like, yeah, you didn't get those crazy gains from the bottom, but you also didn't get that crazy bottom shelf that Bitcoin had.
Totally. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's riveting stuff. So let's talk about it, dude. Tell us about Scrotoverse. What is it? What's going on? What's happening?
So yeah, I mean, it's obviously a derivative of the Sprotos. Yeah, so we can look at this first. So essentially, you know, this coin came out with this NFT project, the Sprotos, and at the same time they launched that NFT project, there was a developer that launched a derivative of that didn't launch any coin, that just launched an NFT project called Skizos. And then basically enough people just got in the Discord and started like, you know, just like chanting weird shit. Like
Classic.
probably the same way that this Harry Potter shit started, you know, just like a bunch of people just chanting weird same shit in the Discord. And that was before a token even existed. And so there was an old version of Ethereum that existed at that point. This is the new one. There was an old version where the dev basically, let's see.
Is it 69 Pepe or 10
Yeah,
Nico?
it's 69 Pepe. So
got it.
Basically, this is the one that JC called in the pit that actually did well on it. Got a 10x on it, so stoked on that. But if you look at the chart, the reason for all those like insane peaks is that the dev had been paying influencers for like a big shill, and then would just dump all his tokens like right into that shill. And so
cool stuff.
Yeah, it's so fucked.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, and so basically pissed off like enough of the community that people were like, all right, like we have to do something about it and like release something that actually has a chance of following Harry Potter. So the Schizo dev launched this, like, I mean, the Scroto Schizos dev launched this Neko version of it, which is actually the same name as like the old BSC version. And so it was kind of a response to that, like we're gonna actually like focus on like branding and try to do shit like plan like fun things, and instead of just like selling into influencer pumps. And so basically the ecosystem, it sort of mimics Bitcoin in a sense, like the actual BTC, not Harry Potter. There's a series of NFTs. Scroto Schizos is one of them. There's like other NFTs in the ecosystem that you can stake and earn this currency called, that there isn't any liquidity for yet, but it's called Schizo currency. And it basically mimics, it was launched to mimic the Bitcoin halving. And there's going to be a halving on it like next April. And you can basically stake different things. You can stake this Ethereum. You can stake all the NFTs, and they're basically modeled after like Bitcoin miners. So like the NFTs are acting as Bitcoin miners for this like schizo currency. And it's just like obviously you know, it's like an art project. It's just like a test, and you know, the community has just been kind of, you know, insane. So it's done well. You know, like anytime you have people that are saying shit like retain is insane, release be at peace, like just spamming like this, you have 50 or 100 people just spamming like the same message in a Discord. It's like, you know, these people aren't going to sell for like, you know, a 20% pump, you know? So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of why I was bullish on it, is because you have like a bunch of crazy people who are kind of consistent on a message, and the meta is that like everyone's going to hold for a year no matter what. So that's kind of why I was bullish on it.
That rocks. So where did you get in on this chart?
So I got in technically. So there is a launch before this one that actually like it was a messed up contract, and so I got in at about the equivalent of like 60K market cap on the
Okay.
previous one, and then was airdropped this one, and I've been buying dips on this one too. So yeah, my first buy technically would be around like 60K, and so now it's 2.3. So I'm pretty stoked on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that rocks. That's insane. So what is that? That's like a
I mean, at the peak, it was like over a 60x, I think.
wow, dude.
Yeah.
Well, you got this nice deviation here happening.
Yeah, I know.
So
Doesn't
we'll
look
see how
great.
that develops.
Yeah, we'll see.
Very cool. What else? What else is on from the on-chain boys?
So
you wanna
while
talk about?
we're on this real quick, the actual old version of Bitcoin, you'll be happy to hear, Circa, is mooning.
What? Is that
Yeah.
real?
This is
Dude,
real. I know.
so much of this.
I was waiting to surprise you.
Dude. Yeah.
Look at this.
Oh, hey.
Yeah,
How we doing, folks? Well, I'm
not
pretty
bad.
sure. I mean, I had to.
That's
have
such a
bought
wicked
somewhere.
chart, dude. That is the most wicked chart ever.
Yeah, dude. The king returns. The OG.
Yeah.
What was the market cap at all-time highs? Do you guys remember?
Oh man. Yeah,
Oh,
what's the
man.
percentage? I mean, what's the percentage increase from here? You could just map it.
No
That's like
idea.
that's
dude.
100. That's like maybe a 20x from here, 30x. Just do a measurement.
Dude, how is the market cap fucking 3.3 mil for this?
No, it's ridiculous, bro.
It's the most egalitarian thing I've ever seen.
What's the contract on this?
It's amazing how you could come up with such a fancy word for a form of pure degeneracy.
Dude,
So
I have
egalitarian.
$1.64 worth.
The fuck does egalitarian actually mean, bro?
I mean, it's like fair, you know. It's fairly distributed.
Yeah, dude.
It's
you know,
fantastic.
I'm
Just
all for
throw
fairness.
The ruler on it. Throw the ruler on it, Circa, please.
What?
Throw the ruler on it.
The ruler? Oh.
The ruler. Go from this. There we go. Yes, but now from this point
so it's
to
a
all-time
5x
highs.
so far, yeah.
Okay, yeah, good. Go from here to all-time highs.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
what is that?
No, from the top.
So it's a 284x from the top. Wow.
No,
it's
from the top of
28x.
this. From the top of this.
Oh.
I mean 28x.
Price.
It's like a 10x from here, right? Yeah. Oh, 3x.
Okay.
3x.
No, that's not wrong. That's not right.
Yeah.
It's not 368.
There's no way.
There's no way it's 368%.
Pretty sure it's right, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Wow. Okay. I thought it was a lot more.
That's totally doable then. Like,
yeah,
that is very
that's
doable.
Easily doable.
That's a 10.5 million market cap. That's very doable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like if the leader goes to 500 mil, like this could easily break it.
Yeah. Let's talk about Nolo.
So this thing here is an interesting one because let's first go and look at Unibot. This is where it all started.
Yeah. Let's talk about Unibot first. That Circa has been fading.
Yeah.
Like they already built a terminal that like
holy shit, dude.
Like after using the Unibot terminal, it's like I don't think anyone's ever going to need to access the Uniswap domain ever again. It's like why would you?
Crazy. It's 12x. 12.8x.
Yeah.
Is there more data elsewhere?
I don't know.
So what's really
Unibone.
interesting about what's going on now is that these bots have been around for a long time. You know, sniper bots, trading bots.
What the fuck?
It's obviously was a scam unibot, and no one's ever really like considered their value. I mean, there's tremendous value in them, but people didn't really realize like.
Well, Maestro never released a token, so they kind of like pushed the value discussion
The market
out.
fit first.
Yeah.
Do a search
Which-
on Nolo because that's moved now. It's no
Yeah.
longer valid. Yeah. So what it's done is that it's opened this whole narrative. You know, so there's Telegram bots. So if you go to CoinGecko, there's a whole section that has been prescribed primarily to Telegram bots, and there's quite a few of them. And then there's also another section that was put up, and that's Discord bots. So what's really interesting about this thing is that not only has a narrative been born out of, you know, bear market and people just being, you know, like the usual crazies that they are, but it's now presented us with a viable product or products that you can use in order to make your trading experience a whole lot more interesting and make the space even more freaking cutthroat and complete and utter. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how people use these bots. And
Totally, because long term, like this is just creating even like more PvP type of an environment, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Unibot. Dig it. And so that brought on Nolo in your mind?
So I think Nolo was always, well, YOLO Nolo was an idea that was born from, I think, the devs that run this thing. I think they're quite an interesting bunch. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. And they wanted to do the same thing in Discord because no one had done anything in Discord. And I actually think that Nolo was the first. So they did a working product that, I mean, you can go into their Discord. You can even come into the Blockmates Discord. I think also the Pit and the Hero Network also has one. You can go and bet on the price of Bitcoin. You can either bet the price goes up or down for the next 5 minutes on Bitcoin. But what they're doing now is that they're about to launch a beta for perps in Discord. So you can basically talk shit with your mates in Discord like we do in the Pit, and then you can place a bet on perps and cross-chain. What these boys have done is that their settlement occurs on Solana. They're doing gasless transactions, even though there is gas still involved on Solana, but it costs nothing. So they're carrying that cost, and then it's settling cross-chain, and they can do basically all the major L2s and L1s.
Yeah, so you're not speculating on just Solana coins. They're you're speculating on everything, but just settling on Solana.
I think it's a great idea and a great new form of trading experience to be able to do it where you ship posts.
Totally.
Correct.
I think that's great. Yeah. I think
like why open up another tab when I can just do it?
I think so. YOLO came out and the original incarnation was you can bet on the direction of the next 5-minute candle.
Correct.
And that's derivative or downstream of Moonrect, the first protocol to utilize Hxro Network's liquidity, that where you could bet on the direction of the next 1-minute candle. See how we're getting with this innovation here, right? We're building something. And then now I'm most excited for YOLO perps because I think the real full realization of Hxro's capabilities is, you know, the trading experience you're actually familiar with. And that's what's going to bring serious people. I've been trading on chain for the last 2 month, and had a range of different experiences. So I'm really starting to get a feel for the argument here of decentralized perp trading. I think decentralized spot trading is like, if someone comes out with something that's based around decentralized spot trading, I'm not very excited. Even if it brings it into a new medium like Discord or Telegram, it's like, who gives a flying fuck, dude? I can go to fucking Uniswap. It's not
that big of a problem.
Yeah, but decentralized perp trading with all of the regulatory issues around it is a completely different story. So yeah, I'm really excited for YOLO perps. I'm really excited for centralized liquidity. there's a number of different decentralized perp protocols like Mux and Apex, and I've used Quenta, and they all have different takes on how to deal with liquidity. I've found
have you tried Vertex?
No, what's Vertex?
So Vertex, definitely worth checking out. They actually got some ideas around liquidity to the extent that they are not only a perps DEX itself, but they looking at it's not similar, but the same idea really around creating a network for other builders to come in and then provision that liquidity and then essentially rent the liquidity accordingly. Okay.
Dude,
that sucks. Yeah.
I'm not about this.
Yeah. I didn't know. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good, dude. You wouldn't know. You don't know the struggle out here. Yeah. But yeah, like, so this is the, key point to bring up is that like a lot of these front ends, even DeFi front ends like Abracadabra are now blocking,
Really?
IPs from certain regions. And what I
did
kind of
not know that. Wow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, if you go on Abra from the US, you got to use a VPN. But
E2, Denny.
What? Yeah, what the
F2,
hell,
Denny?
dude?
Have you checked out Hyperliquid? Does that do the same thing? Just go to Hyperliquid.
What?
Hyperliquid.
Hyperliquid.com?
No, just go Hyperliquid Dex and see what comes up. I'm not sure what the
Yep, restricted jurisdiction.
So they've got an interesting thing going in that they've created their own L2 on top of Arbitrum.
Oh.
And yeah, it's pretty cool, and it just eliminates any lag. Also,
how far to the right does this bar go? 50x? That's cool.
Yeah, they've got a cool. I think they got a cool thing going as well. But MUX, I think, is definitely one of the best ones. I think that Vertex is going to land up being, I think, probably one of the top 3 in the next probably 2 years. That's my prediction on it. They haven't launched a token yet, but they will be. If you're trading on there at the moment, there are incentives that they will airdrop. What's also really interesting that I think is quite relevant for, the DJs and particularly the guys that are like playing on chain, and this whole idea around how do you go about launching a token, primarily through the lessons that we learned with XRP and this court case that unfolded with the SEC. And it all comes down to one very simple thing, and is the concept of a fair launch. And then you got to ask the question, so what does a fair launch look like? Well, a fair launch doesn't look like giving your mates a whole lot of tokens and then going onto the market and doing like a pre-mines kind of environment. You basically put it up as a fair market value process, and the best one that we have is obviously a liquid bootstrapping event. Remember the Redacted Cartel launch? Yep. I don't know if you guys remember that. You have a Dutch auction, price decreases over time based on demand. That's what a fair launch looks like. And I think we are going to see a lot of airdrops and a lot of liquid bootstrapping events going into the future. So
it's great for us.
It's great for everybody. Yeah. I think it's fantastic.
Yep.
Hold on. I'm going to switch screens here. Don't get freaked, Coach Popovic. I just want to check out this. Yeah. So here's Hyperliquid. So what I've noticed here is that these dexes, these perp dexes, have different ways to approach slippage and liquidity and so on and so forth. Mux, I believe, is more based off of Cap Finance. Cap Finance came out before GMX in the 2021. Yeah. And it's really cool. It's always had the most based Telegram of any protocol that I've ever found. They're just absolute maniacs over there. And the dev, Abe, was also similarly based. But what he introduced a dark oracle to the protocol, back then, which basically was like, we're not going to make it obvious where we're getting our price feeds from. It's not going to be Chainlink. It's going to be aggregated between all these different exchanges and Chainlink and other data sources. And what that prevents is front running, and it also makes it much smoother and makes the liquidation engine much safer for the protocol, which is cool. Cap also has never been KYC, never been restricted IPs. And furthermore, it seems to be like sort of like GMX, where you're not there is no opposite side of the trade in a traditional sense. Like the opposite side of the trade is just the USDC pool or the ETH pool. And they're gonna pay out your gains, and they're going to absorb, or they're going to get your losses. And so Mux seems to be like that. On the other side, you have just traditional, sort of, liquidity, like traditional order-based liquidity. I'm pretty sure that Quenta is doing that. Quenta has lots of slippage and really high fees, and I didn't like that. But one thing that's really cool is Apex.
Also,
Pro,
real quick on
go ahead.
Cap. Real quick on Cap. It's the only place that I've found that I can trade the S&P index.
Really? Oh, you can do that on Gains Network too, though.
Oh, on Gains?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
Good to know.
Yep, there is, and metals and Forex. Yeah.
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 They have some other options. Yeah.
Yeah. But Apex is really cool. I found it the other day, and the cool things about it is, one, it has central order book liquidity model. So it's a lot like a centralized exchange. It's backed by a fund from Bybit, and Bybit seems to be heavily involved with it. You can sign up for it through your Bybit account. And then the really cool thing is they have a mobile app. So you can
Nice.
connect your wallet on desktop, download a mobile app and connect it up, and now you can manage your orders from your mobile phone. And it's a lot like a centralized exchange experience. So I found it to be really cool and quick. It's a StarkX product.
How do you connect the mobile app with, like,
scan a QR code?
Okay, interesting. So you're not really connecting your mobile wallet.
No, so you can connect through your MetaMask mobile. I found it to be jank.
Yeah, I hate doing that.
Yeah, kind of
sucks.
sucks.
So it's more just like a visual display of what's happening on the web app.
Yeah, Coach, our producer, is telling us that Apex is essentially Bybit's perp dex. Bybit ref links work for Apex as well, and you can switch between the two within Bybit. But it's snappy, dude. It's faster than a lot of centralized exchanges I've used.
I tried it after you recommended it. I actually really liked it. Yeah,
ZK Tech at play here. Stark is behind it. I think Stark also built DYDX's pre-Cosmos iteration. So yeah, it's StarkNet or StarkX, I forget which one. Very cool and low slippage, but still pretty high fees. I think this one is supposed to have the lowest fees in all of the decentralized perps exchanges, but it's still pretty significant. So yeah, that's my foray into decentralized trading, but I'm really excited for YOLO perps, because if I can do it and manage it from a Discord, that's even cooler. It just depends on what that interface is like,
Yeah.
So you know what I found really interesting, just speaking about perps and the rest of it. I mean, I ended up getting a notification from Binance requesting proof of income, right? I pay my taxes, I do the whole 9 yards, but there's golden rules out there. One of them is pay your taxes. Do not fuck around and not paying your taxes, because you will get caught out at some point in time. Not financial advice, but trust me, it's like there's a saying, there's a guarantee, there's 2 guarantees, death and tax. There's a reason why people say that. So then they ask me for...
Do you use like token tax or anything like that, or?
No. So it's quite different in South Africa, because it's essentially what you're doing is that it's quite simply what is the profitability of what it is that you're doing, and it's obviously you keep a record of that. But I don't think the tax regulations are sophisticated to the extent that they can even get somebody to actually take a look at this stuff and get an accurate assessment of what's going on.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. The point is that Binance requested that I provide proof of income in order for me to continue using their centralized exchange, which I actually haven't used for a long time. I haven't used them for ages. So I wanted to keep the account open. It is convenient to have it there, especially when you're onboarding, when you like on ramps and off ramps and the rest of it. It's a good thing to have, irrespective of whether you're a DeFi maxi or not. And I am a DeFi maxi, especially after this experience. So I submitted information in terms of what it is that my expectation, or what my tax man would expect me to submit. They came back to me saying that the information I supplied them was not adequate enough. So it's adequate for my government and my tax collector to actually scrutinize those documents, but Binance feels that they actually want way more information. So I've basically decided that I'm closing the account. It's none of their business, essentially, like what the evaluation is of assets that I own. They want, like, what is the value of the assets that you own? I'm like, it's none of your fucking business. Here's my tax. This is what I paid. No, it's not sufficient. We can't accept this. Okay, well, if you can't accept it, then screw you, buddy. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Are they just under like that much immense pressure?
I think so. I think
everywhere.
The takeaway for me is that they're under a lot of pressure. We're on stream and Bitcoin is dumping, and obviously Circo is very happy because he's short his printing.
Yeah, it's dumping, dude. But what else is new? Okay, cool. So basically we are excited about all the on-chain mania. There's a lot of innovation in how to gamble on cryptocurrencies.
I mean, look at Rollbit. Go and take a look at Rollbit.
Let's do it, dude.
Good call.
Rollbit's been a huge catalyst to, like, how do we gamble online and then take iterations thereof, use marketing strategies that just completely, like, bend all the rules, get influencers in, pay them like 100 to 250 grand a month. I mean, Hosaka got caught up in the whole thing. I'm sure they gave him a big fat check.
For sure.
And, he essentially landed up putting his hand into the meat grinder thinking that it was going to be, a box of chocolates, and promptly pulled his hands. Apparently he was getting death threats and all sorts of things. And
him and Cold-Blooded Schiller both withdrew at the same time. So
yeah, for personal reasons.
Yeah, just so much coincidence, I don't know.
Yeah.
So what I find really interesting about Rollbit is that, there's a couple of commentators in the market, and ones that I actually respect, who actually reckon that this thing, and I don't have a bag on this thing, it's one of my copes, is that
Same.
This thing could easily go to the billions, just in terms of what the offering is. And
people felt the same thing that they feel about Rollbit about Bybit. I don't know if you guys remember when Bybit was like the fucking YouTube scammer, like automatic shill, but MM Crypto built his fortune on Bybit Reflinks, and people thought it to be a bit of a D tier exchange and kind of scammy, and the people on it weren't particularly bright. You could tell by the flows.
I think most of the criticism was around pushing day one crypto people into
high leverage.
Into perps, which is insane, and I agree with that. And so I feel like that was more the cloud of just scamminess. I don't know. I think Rollbit is more of like people don't know that they're getting taken to the cleaners on fees. People are claiming that they had winnings that were like literally just taken away from them. I would say definitely some of Bybit, but it seems even worse, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's definitely taken. All like, how can you make trading odds look more like casino odds? They've done all of the things you would list.
Correct.
1000x
Yes.
leverage and different ways of gambling on cryptocurrency prices. So yeah, it's definitely it's built to make you lose money, it seems. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a step in the casinofication of everything.
But you know what's interesting about this for me, like ultimately, is that I mean, in the last bull, I think present company included, there was a lot of conversation around how gaming, and I think at the time DeFi Kingdoms, because of what it was doing, and
so
it's
fun,
like
so fun to play.
It was so fun, dude, and it was like it's like the foregone conclusion was, well, gaming is going to be the gateway. It's the gateway drug to crypto for the masses.
Yeah.
But you know what the irony of it is? I think we might have got the gaming wrong, the gaming type wrong. It's not necessarily going to be like
it's adult games.
Yeah.
The gaming we've learned is racing hamsters on Twitch.
Yeah.
Are we really going to talk about this, bro?
Let's talk about this.
I think that's a perfect segue. That is why.
I love it. A whole market move happened in a week.
I'm gonna mark out your JewBacca shills. No.
Oh man, yeah. My average was like 175 on that one.
Yeah.
I still stand by the fact that if the devs
374x.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now 94% drawdown.
Yeah. And it still has a 2.3 million market cap, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Dude.
Just take a moment and consider. And with
dumb
406k of liquidity, that's ridiculous.
Like my take on this is that if you noticed when this thing started going crazy, that was completely aligned with when Harry Potter token was nuking, and that thing retraced like 70% of where it is now. And so money basically was coming to this from Harry Potter. This one turns out, dev was like, has a history of slow rugging. Money just like flooded back into Harry Potter as soon as that happened. And so it was really interesting. I truly do believe that if the dev didn't fumble the bag, this probably, would have gone to like 100 mil plus. And Harry Potter might have been done, in my opinion. And like and so because the devs fumbled so hard, now we have like Harry Potter. Maybe that goes to like, who knows, 500 mil this rally. But it's just really interesting to watch like things trading against each other. Like where's the money flowing? Like obviously there is appetite for some just like ridiculous bullshit scam.
Yeah. What's just looking at the structure of Robert there, I was very fortunate to get invited to the Rational Investor podcast last Friday with Brian Beamish, and we actually charted Robert, and it was quite extraordinary that it's done pretty much exactly what we were chatting about it would do, because Brian said, no, this thing looks like it's topping, and then RT basically drew it out, and this is what I'd like to see. And RT's, I think he's going to be bidding quite soon. So yeah, it's definitely following. It's following a strong TA. I mean, it is a 250 mil market cap. It was a 350, 360 mil market cap at the top. It needs to obviously come back and chill a bit. And then it will run again. Make no mistake about it. This thing will definitely run again.
Yeah,
it's not a bad place to buy.
It makes me wonder what the value, like the FTVs, are going to be at the top of next bull. Like I think they're going to be bigger because like just the FTVs on some of these memes and scam tokens and even new protocols like are pretty insane, even in the context of last bull. So
agreed.
It makes me think that are like
it's momentum, right? I mean, it's momentum. We have the track record to show. I mean, 2017, 2018, it was all about the starting point, and the last bull was, okay, this is the potential. And the next one, I think we're going to see, I personally think the next one's going to be completely off the charts, like completely.
This has
$5
been
bill.
an
Remember when
interesting-
Wonderland was $5-6 bill, guys? Remember that?
Yeah. The SNX has been very interesting.
Agreed.
You know, we had the XRP rally, and at the same time, SNX was going nuts. I don't know a whole lot about why synthetics rallies, or what the FA on synthetics is, but it seems to be the Dino DeFi that like is still very strong.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
like
Talk
out of
about
all-
Dino DeFi. Sorry to change the subject, but
Yeah.
should we talk about Maker for a second after this?
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of perking up about Maker.
Maker is becoming like, so I kind of talked about, this was a while ago, like this sector portfolio theory where you have like different segments and you have your leader in each segment. And I think Maker is kind of becoming like the RWA like leader, you know?
Very interesting tweet here left on my Maker chart. Never really pumped, so not much to lose. Pumped friggin' dude. Yeah. Pumped 11x
Do
off the
people
low.
actually know what your history is with trading and on chain? Have you actually ever shared that with people, or should I
My
do that
history?
for you? Your history, yeah.
I guess not. What are you referring to?
Okay, so for those who don't know, Circa is the kind of guy that he's the kind of guy that if he picks up a book about microbiology and he's interested in it, he'll go and he'll study microbiology, and he'll probably do it in record time and become a specialist in microbiology. Someone would probably take 4 to 5 years to do it in a university environment. Circa would probably do it.
My brother says
Probably in about a fifth of the time. And at one point in time, when I first met Circa, he was absolutely the boss on on-chain perspective. Like, he fucking knew everything. Like, it was all about where's the narrative going next. And it's very interesting to see
So
how
deep
he
into the
developed
weeds.
so deep, like at roots level. And now he's doing it with his like 1.5 second trades, probably like 6,000x leverage. But we look forward to your return to on-chain, sir. And
I've been waiting for something. I really hope that something gets me that excited. You know, the last thing to do that was like Perv Wars and Danny season.
It's coming.
Yeah,
there's a lot coming, dude. There's a lot of stuff coming. We've got, obviously, we interviewed Matt from Tapioca. I mean, that stuff's coming, and those guys, they've already put the cats amongst the pigeons. And I think the whole space for this next bull is just going to be so interesting, and there's going to be so many gems. And
if you think about it, like the preamble to the last bull was the invention of DeFi and the liquidity problem of DeFi and liquidity mining and all of this other stuff that just at face value, and maybe I'm biased, appears to be way more interesting than this preamble. We have like hamster racing, schizophrenic coins. And
the thing is, what's going on right now is, and I'll tell you why this is happening. It's not a difficult thing to understand, is that a lot of the good stuff is actually still being built. We're in a bear, people are building, but the most important thing is we almost need the catalysts to bring the liquidity into the space. We want people to do well with hamster races. We want people to come back into the market when they see their beloved XRP pumping off the back of good news on the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, how much of that is regulatory based, like the lack of new DeFi protocols that that we've seen. I feel like a lot of that is because like of the lack of clarity. Like, people don't want Gary coming after them.
I mean, we had a conversation with a really interesting, and I think a protocol that's going to do really well in the next bull, and that's a protocol that's called Savvy. And Savvy is basically like providing no liquidation loans. You can basically put your collateral down and you won't get liquidated. It's fucking great concept. They actually want to compete with liquidity provisioning on the same level that Synthetics is offering. That's their whole business model. And they didn't want to do anything in terms of this whole regulatory thing. So they had everything drawn out. ready to go, but then they started hitting a whole lot of brick walls with this whole regulatory environment. And then the XRP thing came out, and they were like, cool, we now have a precedent. They're going to do a liquid bootstrapping event, I think, in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And it's all mapped out for them now. Essentially, that legislation or that ruling has basically, set everything up. And I've just been notified that Circa needs to leave in 5 minutes.
How are they doing no liquidation loans?
Well, you must go and read the article that we wrote on blockmates.com. Savvy, SAVVY. They go through everything. SAVVY.
Okay. This is the article.
Yeah. That's all
Yeah.
you need to read.
I mean, I'm not going to read it on stream, but that's very interesting.
Yeah. So the point that I want to make, Circa, is that all that stuff that you love so much about DeFi, it's currently in motion, dude. It's happening. Now all that needs to happen is for that liquidity to come back. And all of this amazing work that's being done in DeFi at the moment will reveal itself. People will be talking about projects like Savvy. People will be talking about projects like Tapioca. Swell. I mean, Swell in terms of liquid derivatives. Dude, that is a boss project that's currently underway. You can go and stake your ETH. You can get, I think they're pearls, and then the pearls land up becoming their token, but they are primarily looking at a product to market fit first, and then we'll launch a token later. All the really good protocols that are coming to the fore right now, I'd say 80% of them are saying, we're going to freaking launch a product first, and then we'll do a token later. Let's get our shit in order, and then we'll go and raise money later. And this is one of many of them. So we will see what it is that you saw the last bull run, but you'll see a lot more of it, and it'll be a lot more interesting. The thing that's missing right now is that liquidity.
Yeah. I mean, this looks a lot like Alchemix.
It is. It's based off Alchemix. Yes, it is based off Alchemix in many ways. You hit the nail on the head. It's just a better version of it.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I think definitely like liquidity makes all these narratives appear more attractive than they might have before.
And I think what you'll find as well is that they'll be way more efficient than the last time around. Way more efficient, way less clicking, way better UI, UXs. It's all evolving, dude. It's what's happening. It's inevitable. And it's great to see, especially over the last year and a half, how people have come to the party. And I'm super bullish for what's coming. Like, really. For on-chain, it's going to be fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, dude. Well, pretty cool episode back with the boys. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm so excited to have you guys back. And we got a slew of awesome guests to alienate with our behavior and manner of speaking in the near future. So I'm very excited about. If you're out there and you want to shit talk with us 24/7, go to hxro.com, click the community tab, join the Discord, and quit being a loser. And I guess see you guys next week on the pit.
Take it easy.
Peace out.